Today, Baba is giving us his introduction that I am called the truth. And why is Baba called the truth? Because Baba says that I come and tell you the truth. And this whole world is a world of falsehood. So, in this world, whatever we hear, whatever we believe in is false. Baba says this world is described as jhuti maya, jhuti kaya, jhuta sab sansar, which means maya is false, the body is false, and this whole world is false. And this is the description that people in the world has given about this world. It's not Baba who has coined this term that this whole world is false. In this false world, people have come up with this, with this saying that everything here is false. And what is the difference between truth and falsehood? So you see, there are so many things that are said about truth. And people say truth sets you free, or truth is power. But Baba tells us that truth makes you belong to the world of truth. So when you know the truth, you create the world of truth, Satyug. Satyug means the world of truth, the age of truth. So Baba says, whatever you hear until now, if you work on those belief systems, if you hold those ideas in your awareness, then you become more and more Kaliyugi. And when I tell you the truth and you imbibe that truth, then you create the world of heaven for yourself. You create your own deity stage and you create the world of heaven for yourself. And you see, I always think about these things that, this brain doesn't know the difference between truth and falsehood. Yes, so there are some principles of the brain. So, whatever you think many times, it will start believing in it. Yes, so this brain is wired like that whenever you think a thought many times, or whenever you create a certain, do an act many times, then this brain gets used to it and creates pathways which are in consonance with those patterns of thoughts or actions. But you see, there are many people who have realized this and who understand that the brain creates pathways according to what we do repeatedly. But then nobody knows what pathways to create. Or, everybody knows that, there is the law of manifestation, or there is the law of attraction. And whatever you are thinking, you are attracting it or creating it or manifesting it. But then how do you create? What do you want to create? Or what is it that you can create? So I was just, in one gathering once. It was a gathering of college students. And I asked them, what is the best thought you can create? So, the highest, the best thought that you can create. And then somebody said, I'm healthy, or somebody said, I have a very happy life, or somebody said that, I have a long life, or somebody said, I have a lot of money. So you see, there is such a limitation to the best thought that we can create. Yes, even if, in the world you ask people, what is the best version of you that you can create with your vision? So they will say, I'm disciplined, or I'm, organized, or I'm healthy, or I have good time management, or I am hardworking or something. But what is beyond that? Nothing. So Baba tells us, Baba says, I tell you the truth. And Baba says, I am the teacher. I am not only the ocean of truth, but I, the ocean of truth, come and become your teacher. And I teach you. And what does Baba teach us? So, of course, Baba teaches us about ourselves, who I am as a soul, and that I'm not the body. And then Baba teaches us that I am the child of the Supreme Father. And Baba teaches us that, I'm not somebody who has to beg and pray, but I'm somebody who is naturally, by design, I have a right over all the virtues and treasures of Baba. So this, of course, Baba tells us, but the most important piece of knowledge that Baba gives us is that I was a deity and I'm going to become one. Yes, and Baba says, I give you the knowledge of the beginning, middle, and end. I tell you your story of 84 births. And you come to know from me that you were a deity and then you took 84 births and you became who you are today. And then it is certain, just like, it is certain that you were a deity. Similarly, it is certain that you are going to become one. And Baba tells us the truth that every child who is sitting in Baba's class and listening to this knowledge, that means that that soul is a deity soul. And Baba says that this is 100% true, that if I am a Brahmin today, that means that I have taken 84 births and I am going to be someone who is going to again become a deity in the coming age. And Baba says, this is the truth that I tell you. And you have to churn over this truth. You have to think about it. And you have to realize it. And you see, in today's blessing, something very important is being said. Baba tells about, people who are scientists. They have created instruments, physical instruments through which they can catch the sound, that's there in the atmosphere. Sound that was created many, many years ago, decades ago, centuries ago. And they can just capture that sound through machines. Do you know this? You are aware of this? That, these people who work in archaeology, they do this. They are able to capture the sounds that have, the words spoken and the sounds that were there many years ago. They are able to catch those through machines. And Baba says that science is your creation and you are the creator. And you are more powerful than your creation. So if science is able to create instruments through which you can go, in years back and capture sounds in the atmosphere, then can you not go back in your memory lane and capture the sanskars that you had in Satyug? Yes, so Baba says that just like, you use physical instruments to capture the sound in the atmosphere, what do you use here? You use the power of silence. And with the power of silence, and how do you create the power of silence? Through this awareness that I am a soul and my religion is peace and my Baba is the ocean of peace. So in remembrance of Baba, in your state of soul consciousness, when you're not thinking about any matters of the world, you could just go down memory lane and go to your state in Satyug and just try to see what was there in Satyug. what sanskars did you have in Satyug? What were your habits of thought, attitude, action? What was your lifestyle in Satyug? How did you interact? How did you behave? What was your attitude towards situations and people and towards your body? So you could just go delve into silence and emerge these sanskars of Satyug. And Baba says that for that you need, so the instrument is silence. But what is the switch? So how do you switch into Satyugi consciousness? So the switch is, you tell yourself, I was a deity and I'm going to become one. And if you have that faith, if you have imbibed this knowledge, because you see, we have lived in the world of falsehood for so many births. For 63 births, we have been in this world of falsehood. So when Baba tells us the truth that you were a deity and you're going to become one, it takes some time for us to accept that truth or imbibe that truth. Because although we hear this knowledge from Baba, this truth from Baba, and we feel good about it, we are happy to hear it, that's the sign that you were a deity. So there are many children who, everybody is Baba's child, but those who were not in the deity religion, they are not able to come to terms with this truth. So when somebody is listening to knowledge and they don't nod or they don't get happy, then we understand that this soul is not a Satyugi soul. Because when they heard the knowledge that you were a deity, it didn't make them happy. But we are all sitting here because when we heard this knowledge that I am a Satyugi soul, I was very happy. So of course, it makes me happy, it makes me believe in it. But then, I believe in it, but then in order for it to come into behavior, I have to imbibe it. So, so I like the truth, but I'm not an embodiment of the truth right now until and unless I churn on it. So, we have to make genuine, conscious effort to remember Baba and churn on knowledge. And Baba tells us to rotate the Swadershan Chakra. So the knowledge that Baba has given about 84 births of our journey, keep it in your intellect and just visualize it. Try to visualize it. Do you know when somebody has amnesia, then what do doctors tell them to do? So they have to revisit, whatever they have forgotten. And whenever they try to remember whatever they have forgotten, then they try again and again and again, and then they remember. So Baba also tells us that you have forgotten your story of 84 births. You have forgotten how you were a deity, and then how you took birth after birth after birth, and how, golden age, silver age, copper age, iron age, everything passed, and then today you are here. And Baba says, you just suppose that this is true. So when Baba gives us the knowledge of 84 births, then what do we have to do? Because, when we come to Baba, we feel that this is Baba. So, this recognition is very intuitive. So, when we come to Baba, when we Brahmins come to Baba, when we deity souls come to Baba, we feel, the heart says, this is my Baba, this is my father. And there's so much conviction in that feeling that, there is no logical explanation, but that this is my Baba and I am a soul. And then Baba says that with that faith that, this is my Baba, and Baba is the Supreme One, and Baba is called the truth. So when Baba is called the truth, that means that Baba is not saying anything that's false or wrong. So maybe I'm not able to grasp it right now, but when I have faith in Baba, I have to have faith in Baba's knowledge. And God and God's words, they have always been talked about together. So, when we speak of the Gita, in the Gita it's written that God speaks. So, whenever God comes, what he does is he speaks, Bhagwan Uvach. And then in every religion, they say the word of God is final or the word of God is true. So Baba says, when your heart knows that this is Baba and you know that God is upheld as the one who is the truth. So what does God the truth mean? God the truth means that Baba tells you what is true. And then when you have that faith that whatever Baba is saying is true, and I have forgotten it because I have had a journey of 84 births, so let me just accept that whatever Baba is saying is true and do what Baba says. And what does Baba say? Remember me, become pure, and rotate the Swadershan Chakra. And what does rotate the Swadershan Chakra means? Baba has given us knowledge of the 84 births of our journey spanning 4 yugas and this 5th yuga called Sangam Yuga. And keeping that knowledge in your awareness, just visualize yourself in every yuga, in Satyug, in the Silver Age, in the Copper Age, in the Iron Age, and in the Confluence Age. Keep visualizing yourself based on the knowledge. And if you do this, how many of you pay attention to rotating the Swadershan Chakra? So so at least 12 times in a day, because 12 hours at least we are awake and free and not eating or bathing or sleeping. So at least 12 times a day, every hour, one must pay attention to rotating the Swadershan Chakra. And when you keep doing it, then what happens is your memory gets awakened. So the whatever Baba is saying is true, but that truth has got merged in my awareness because I have forgotten it. I became body conscious and I forgot. I took birth after birth after birth. I didn't remember what happened in the last birth. But now when we start doing it, we start practicing the Swadershan Chakra, then you will start realizing, not knowing. So this knowledge everybody has, every Brahmin has this knowledge that I have taken 84 births, but this knowledge will become a deep realization that yes, I was the Satyugi deity. And then Baba says this chakra is identically repeating. So when I was, that means I will be. And nobody can deny this. And when you have this deep conviction of I was a deity and I will be a deity, and then with that conviction, you just stay in silence and go to that time 5,000 years back and sit in that world and see how you were, what were your sanskars in that world. Then those sanskars will start emerging. And when those sanskars emerge and you put them into practice now, so for example, the sanskar of love, complete acceptance, harmony, or the sanskar of purity. So when you start emerging those sanskars in your awareness, so emerging your sanskar means it's not like deities were like this. No, I was like this. And you start feeling it that this is my sanskar, I was this deity. Then what happens is those sanskars in that emerged state, they become your embodiment, they become your swarup. You become like those sanskars. And Baba says everybody has to do this practice for themselves. And then, when you emerge those sanskars again, then you start becoming an embodiment of those sanskars, then this sansar will change, or this world will change accordingly. So Baba tells us this thing that, I tell you the truth. And Baba says, in the world, people believe that it is possible to leave the cycle of the drama and just go to the soul world and be there. Yes, so people believe this. And then sannyasis will also say that, yes, if you remember the Brahm element, then you will go and merge into the Brahm element and you will never come back. But Baba says, that is not the truth. And even if you see, the difference between truth and falsehood is, you can believe both, you can practice both, but what is not true will never happen. So Baba says sannyasis have been doing this. They have been remembering the Brahm element for years, for 2 yugas. They, not 2 yugas, because sannyas is a Kalyugi dharma. So in Kalyug this started, that they started remembering the Brahm element, they started remembering home, they started remembering the soul world. Although they don't have complete knowledge of the soul world, still they had visions that there is a world of light which is golden red in color, and it's silent, and they thought that is God. And then they started remembering the sweet home called the world of light. And then they started believing that if I remember the soul world, I will go back and never come back to this drama. But Baba says that that is not true. And Baba says, even if you made a lot of effort, you will not succeed in that. So that is why Baba says it's very important to understand the truth, because effort aligned with the truth and of effort full of faith in the truth, that will lead to success. You may have faith in falsehood, you may make effort in a false direction, but that will not lead to success. So Baba says that you have to now have this, have this imbibing of knowledge that I was a Satyugi soul and I'm going to be one. And you see, we are Brahmins, and we are. So what is the biggest treasure of Brahmin life? The biggest treasure of Brahmin life is happiness. Yes, but I can't see any happy faces here. Yes. So most of you don't even choose to show your face. If it was a happy face, you would choose to show your face, right? So either it's a sleepy face, or a confused face, or a busy face, or a tired face, or I don't know what face. But if it was a happy face, then you would choose to show that face. But why is this? Why are we Brahmins and still that happiness is not there? Yes, so why do we don't feel that enthusiasm to sit and, with our eyes wide open, with happiness on our face, and listen to Baba's knowledge? Why is that so? That's because, we are not doing what Baba is saying. We like the knowledge, but Baba tells us to practice. Baba tells us to bring into awareness. For example, today Baba, for many times in the Murli, Baba says, just remember, where are you sitting? Which school are you sitting in? Just remember, who is your teacher? Just remember, what are you studying? You're studying Raj Yoga. You're studying to become a deity. Yes. And you see, there is this one brother, and yesterday he was asking me a very interesting question. He said, sister, how can one thought make me happy again and again and again? So, yes, I understood that I'm God's child. Yes, I understood I'm going to be a deity. I felt very happy. But then how can that thought make me happy again and again and again? So I told him, you see, in this world, people are creating a thought of fear, a thought of anxiety, a thought of worry, a thought of stress, and feeling that feeling again and again by creating the same thought. Yes, so suppose somebody is full of fear, fear of death. So every time, they think about death, they feel the same fear. So if it is possible to feel a negative feeling by thinking about it again and again and again, then how is it not possible to feel happiness by thinking about who you are, who you belong to, and who you are going to become? What are you studying? If you bring this into your conscious awareness again and again, it's going to fill you with goosebumps. You are going to feel that happiness to your bones. And just sit and think about these things. Sometimes we take knowledge and then we don't practice the yuktis that Baba is giving us to stay in constant intoxication. Yuktis are simple methods. For example, the method that Baba gives today, bring into your awareness again and again. Who is teaching me? Where am I sitting? What am I studying? I'm not studying Praja Yoga, I'm studying Raj Yoga. Yes, I'm going to be the king of kings tomorrow. I'm going to rule in the new world tomorrow. Just envision that new world. Yes, people are opening their screens, television screens, mobile screens, and listening to news all day and thinking about what are you visualizing, how there'll be a war or how people will die or what destruction will bring. So don't visualize all of that. Visualize, this beautiful communion that you are having with Baba at this time. Visualize your new world. And when you start thinking about these things, it fills you with a lot of happiness. And then Baba today tells us that don't run after shells. Baba says that, we are in a body right now, and of course we earn for the body because the body needs to be sustained, and there are karmic settlements, there are souls who we have to take care of because of some karmic settlement. So all of that is fine. You earn your money. Baba has never told us to leave office, leave work, or leave the household. But Baba says, do you not remember that even if you earn multi-millions, even if you became the richest person on earth in Kali Yuga, that is going to perish. You're not going to take it with you. Yes, so don't run after it. Yes, and the biggest thing that I learned in this path of knowledge, the biggest lesson, the biggest dharana that I learned on this path of knowledge is that you can do everything with a balance of being careful and carefree. Yes, so you don't have to, you can be free from worry, stress, and you can be absolutely careful. It's not like you become careless, but you are completely carefree. And earlier, whenever I used to do something, there was a lot of, thought into whether this will turn out right or what will happen. And I used to create a lot of stress about these things. And then when I came to Baba, I learned how I can do everything as an instrument, knowing that, I have to do everything because this is my part, but everything that comes out of it is anyways perishable. So why hanker after it, or why think too much about it? And I remember there was this one time when I came into Gyan, and after that, somebody, gave me some. So I had to buy something from the market, and then I had never bought that thing from the market. So that particular commodity, and I had no idea about what is the price, or whether somebody will give me for a less price or more price, or how should I bargain. I had no idea. And then they told me it was a seva assignment and I was entrusted to get it from the market. And then, I just went in remembrance of Baba, and I went there and I entered the right shop. And that shopkeeper, he didn't charge any penny extra. I didn't have to bargain. And then I brought that purchase, and everybody said this is the lowest at which we could buy it, and it's very good quality. And then later I realized that, you keep worrying too much because of your own sanskar, your own attachment. Otherwise, you can do everything in Baba's remembrance in a very carefree state. And Baba also says, you earn your money, but don't put too much thought into it. Don't hanker after it, because anyways it is perishable. Stay in Baba's remembrance. The pursuit of money and the pursuit of profit and gain, it shouldn't be so much, that the pull shouldn't be so much that it would engage your intellect and not allow you to remember Baba, or not allow you to remember the points of Murli today. So that is one thing. And then Baba says that everything that you're earning is anyways going to perish. So Baba says, also make an attempt to invest it in Baba's work right now, and especially in creating, and sustaining Baba's centers. So when your money is contributed to the sustenance and creation of centers, then Baba says you will receive a multi-million fold return of that investment in the new world. So Baba always says that if you want to convert your perishable wealth to imperishable wealth, so when we go to Satyugar, everything there is imperishable. So if you want to convert your perishable wealth to imperishable wealth, so keep whatever is necessary, and the rest of it, just use it for Baba's seva. And then Baba says that wealth will never be, when you use money for Baba's seva, then even if, at the end we will anyways leave everything and go, you will never have a feeling of loss. You will be very happy that I used everything in a worthwhile way, and I have already created my fortune, and now I am leaving. So these are Baba's teachings today. Anybody wants to share anything, please do. No, nothing, nobody. Okay, yes. Om Shanti, sister. Om Shanti.
Yeah, I would like to share my experience today.
Yeah.
So when I was a child, my father would always emphasize on this idea that our family is like struggling or poor, and therefore you always have to, like, you sort of like saying like you can't make it big because you don't have what it takes to make it big.
Yes.
So even though I did well in studies or work or everything, I never had that sort of self-confidence, that self-worth, in my capacity, or I never thought to aim bigger, because it was sort of my identity. But then when I started in Gyan, to be honest, I was like, if I become a subject in the golden age, I'll be more than happy. That's how I started in Gyan. But gradually, with Baba's constant guidance and accompanying me all the time, I very slowly started to realize that no, Baba is saying that I will become a deity. Baba is the one who tells the truth. And if Baba is saying that, then what I'm trying to say is that my identity slowly changed, and the way I started thinking changed. And because before I thought of all of this, I know he always said that this is to become kings, not subjects. But I never really felt like I could do that. But once I started understanding Gyan more, I I myself was very surprised when I one day thought, like, can I actually be a master ocean of love? And I felt like, yes, I can. Because before I only thought of these things in a very body conscious way, in a very, like you said, the Kali Yugi habit of thinking. So I didn't really grasp it. So I was able to, which actually surprised me that I could think like that. So that so I really wanted to share that experience because it was, even for me, it was very, this identity is very new. But thank you, Baba.
Yes. And this is such a beautiful experience, and I'm sure everybody is also, relating to it, because in the body conscious world, we are very limited. We have a very limited idea of ourselves. And Baba gives us this unlimited idea of who you were and who you can be. And of course, it takes some time to embrace it. But once you embrace it, then you realize, what is your true potential. So yes, it's beautiful sharing from you. Thank you, Om Shanti.